Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Chesterfield. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, Casey Milton. Casey, thank you so much for taking the time today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I know there's a lot of people watching this that are so excited to learn from you and hear about just your success and this massive business that you built in real estate here in St. Louis. And so take me back to your decision to start a career in real estate.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. 2016, 2017. I got my realtor license in 2017. I was working for a large nonprofit organization. I was like the Olivia Pope. I managed 7 different departments. I did all of their large scale event planning. I'm a certified large scale event planner. So that means anything or anybody over like 100 people without an assistant. Very difficult, very challenging, but I was just being overworked and underpaid. So I said to myself, let me try to do something, take kind of like my own position in my own hands, because I felt like if I work this hard for myself, where can I be? And I said, I have a degree in communications. And I said, what do I do best? Talk. And so I've always had a passion for homes and all things decor. So I said, well, let me try my hand in the real estate world. And ever since I got my license, I've been moving and grooving.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what skills did you take from your previous work experience that have translated over to real estate?
Ooh, gosh, well, just get it done. As you can imagine, as a large scale event planner, there is a lot of things that's thrown in your way. And where I worked, it was the inner city. So I was accustomed to talking with people of different levels of life. And so, being able to communicate effectively throughout, any situation is key. So I definitely think my communication skills, and I definitely think my patience, on all levels, being patient with individuals who are, hard pressed for life, or individuals who are high on life, whatever the case, being patient with them and their decisions is just kind of helping them walk through whatever it is that they were at the time. So,
Yeah, I always say that people move on their timeline, not ours.
Yep.
And so that can be one of the most challenging things, I think, as an agent, because obviously we don't get paid if we don't sell a house. And so having that patience to just walk alongside someone throughout their home buying or home selling journey and be an educator, and so that they can make the most informed decision for themselves, right?
Yep, this is true. And I think a lot of the time people just want to know fully what they're getting themselves into, or what does this particular facet of life entail. Like, we are just here to help them navigate through this transaction successfully. People have to buy, they have to sell. So we're here to kind of just help them, give them that little nudge and push to say, hey, this is what you need to do in order to get you where you want to go.
I love that. Well, Casey, you've always been someone that, I've respected and admired, just the way that you carry yourself and the way that you run your business. And, I think a lot of agents would say the same about you, right? But what do you feel like was the biggest key to your success? Like you get licensed, and then what? Like what happened next?
Well, I'm lovingly known, as you know, as the go-getter realtor. And I really feel I've always been some type of overachiever in whatever I've put my hand in. So I just went out there and I just got to work. Like, I was motivated by knowing how much money you could potentially make in this industry. Although I've never really done this for the money, it's been a nice
reward of all the hard work.
Reward of, being able to do this effectively to get, sell so many houses and things of that nature. So
go getter.
I'm a go getter. I just do it. I literally, a lot of people ask, what is it that you do? Or, I literally was hungry. I remember getting my license. I initially signed up with Berkshire Hathaway, and they had weekend classes, like how to do real estate. And as soon as I was done with those 4 weeks, I did my first open house, and I got business off of that first open house. And ever since then, I've just not afraid of the no, was never a secret agent. I asked sincerely and genuinely, people hey, I would love for you to use me for your transaction. And it just literally kind of skyrocketed and just doubled each year from there.
Wow. That's a message I think that every agent could hear out there, right? Is do the work, hustle, right? It's not going to happen right away in a industry that there is no limit. for what you can accomplish. And if you have, big dreams, I guarantee there's someone that's dreaming bigger than you. And that's been to even higher levels of what you're thinking. And so just surrounding yourself with people that have a big vision for their business and can kind of show you the way, which it sounds like,
I do now. I think initially when I first started, there were some individuals I'm like, I'm definitely going to get to that 5 million mark. And that was super motivating. Got there. And then other individuals got more. And I'm like, okay, so now like people like Lance Merrick and I don't know if you know if Tim Burgess is, Sabi Javed, like those are all good buddies of mine that I'm striving after that do consistently 16 to 30 million. And I really believe in my heart of hearts, I could do 20 million. Of course, my life is definitely set up different than theirs, but I feel that I'm on the trajectory to be able to be a $20 million agent.
Mm-hmm. I believe you are too.
Thank you.
So take me through some of, everybody loves, I call it, the sugar versus salt, like a lot of sugar, right? We're talking about all the good things. Yeah. Let's get into some of maybe the challenges that you face in building your business. You mentioned double year over year, like that amount of growth in such a short period of time, I know comes with some challenges. So walk me through some of, those obstacles or those challenges that you faced over the years.
Yeah. Well, I have to say this, and this sounds really, really bad. I don't really have really bad transactions at all. But my biggest challenge overall has been balancing my family life with this life. I'm married. We have three girls. So in the midst of me starting my real estate career, I had one teenager, one about to be a teenager, and a smaller child. So balancing that with my husband, that family time. And I remember a good friend of mine, Janelle Stowers, she owns Stowers Realty. She had said meals over millions. And that always stuck with me. Like, do you want to make millions or do you want to be at home cooking meals? And so that was one of those things I just kind of had to compromise with my husband and say, listen, I'm not going to be here to be able to cook the meals because I'm out making millions. And, that has been okay in our household. We've just kind of shifted. But that's been the biggest challenge, is trying to raise children in the midst of this business, going on showings and things of that nature. So thankfully, my kids have been super understanding and they like the lifestyle that I've been able to create. So
absolutely.
No complaints.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've found just in like consulting with agents, if you're anywhere from 0 to 5 million in production, you have a leads problem. 5 to 10 million is more of a listings problem. You're probably more buyer focused, which we were just talking about before the podcast. You've kind of shifted your business to more listing focused, but, and then over 10 million, it's leverage. Like, how do I get more time at home with the family, with the spouse? And how do I get that time back? Because that's our most valuable asset, right? So yeah, talk to me about, we were talking before the podcast of, you've kind of seen the shift in your business recently and it's becoming more listing heavy. It is. Which is exciting, but also I'm sure an adjustment. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all aspire to become like a listing agent. When you first get in the business, you're like, the listing agents don't do as much work. We do a lot of work, I haven't gone so far as like creating a system where I have someone like delivering my yard signs. So I'm still doing that myself. I'm still doing the listing inputs and things of that nature. I am starting to use more AI when it comes to the listing descriptions, which is helping. I am kind of outsourcing some of the other things when it comes to the admin part of it. So it's kind of making it a little more streamlined, but my focus really is to try to cater to my sellers. Of course, I'm still catering to my buyers as well, but I have a system with my buyers where I typically don't show them any more than 5 to 7 houses. I know what they want. I know what they're looking for. So during that first initial visit, I'll let them pick some and then I hear what they're saying and I pick some. And a lot of the times I actually pick the property that I choose, which is great. One of the properties today is a set of buyers where I chose the house and they didn't want to see it initially, but they saw it and fell in love with it as per and their closing. So, I have to say like it works. It works.
Yeah. Isn't it the best whenever you are able to provide that value, right?
I'm just like, who picked the house?
Yeah. How did we find this one again?
I literally always kind of dropped that like, oh, you remember I kind of added this one.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Talk to me about, your growth over time. Like what's your vision for your business? If we look out a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, what is that vision for your business? Like what's the goal and what's on the horizon here?
Yeah. Well, been in the industry. I'm entering into my 8th year come May. So I'm tying the end of my 7th. So for the past 3 years, I've consecutively done 10 to 11 million, which has been amazing. My vision for the next 3 to 5 years is to hit the 15 to 20 million. It's a little bit more of a slower growth for me in the sense of I'm still building up my average price point. My average price point is like $320,000, which is amazing. But in the same token, to kind of consistently stay there is going to be a challenge while obtaining more business. So definitely doing some different tactics. I don't know if you saw, but I'm doing like a home seller seminar, which I'm trying to, get more sellers to come out and just hear in a non-obligatory way how to effectively sell their property. While, of course, them kind of interviewing me in the process of seeing how I work. But in the same token, just trying to do different things to kind of, get more listings.
That's funny to hear you say that. You talk about your messaging now is more catered towards sellers, and what's happened? You've gotten more sellers. Yep. So
I've gotten more sellers.
It's a really simple business when you break it down, right? I mean, you talked about it, like do the work. The work's going to take care of you. Treat people right.
Be a secret agent, like literally open your mouth and just talk to people. I remember a funny story where this bit me in the butt when I was a newer agent. I was doing an open house and this couple was in the house and they were interested in the house. I don't know why. I was so terrified of asking them, like, do you have a realtor or whatever the case? So I didn't. A year later, I was doing another open house and they came in with their daughter. And I remember them and they remember me. And they were like, we don't know why you didn't ask us. We ended up buying a house with another realtor. And after that, I was just like, never again will I be a secret agent. Never again will I not say anything. That was like the one moment I regret. I didn't end up helping their daughter because they had someone else. But that just showed me the power of time and, remembering and like just being able to kind of just open up and say stuff. So that was my thing.
Good lesson. Good lesson there. So I know that one event that you put on, I think last year, was a client appreciation event. It was like a party in your backyard. Talk to me about how you came up with that idea and then just like what all went into that. Because I think that's a brilliant idea, right? I think there's a level of like intimacy with inviting people into your home and, these people that have worked with you in the past or close family and friends, and getting that one-on-one time with these people that are, your biggest fans.
Right.
Got to lead to more business, I would imagine.
It does. Right? It does, which is amazing. One thing that I've always done well, because I am a large-scale event planner, and it is my second nature to plan events, is cater to my clientele. So being that actually today celebrates the closing of that property, which real estate opened that door for me to open, to find our dream home. But I've always been big in entertainment. So when we got the property, I knew I wanted to do a client appreciation as far as like called a garden party. So I wanted all the couples. I cater to a lot of couples. And so I wanted to invite as many as I can and just really just thank them for their business and future business as well. So of course I get business from that, but it's just nice to give back. I also do, and I didn't do last year, but I will be doing this year, a movie night event with my lender. So this year it will be in my house because I'm on 3 acres and I can definitely accommodate all these people. So we'll do a movie night and we'll do a Christmas event as well. So just having those events really help keep the connection because I don't get to see them a lot after the initial, after we close. So connecting with my clientele still is just, it's super important because they still remember you and definitely refer you business. So I always like to just do extra little stuff like that. I also have like little dinners at my house for people who have like referred me, like 6 people or more, or 5 people or more. And people who I know who are influential. So I'm a little strategic, but at the same time, they're really good people. Really
good you like to party. You like to have a good time.
I love to have a good time. My husband's like, can we please enough parties? But I'm like, listen, it's
what I do.
It's what I do. Like, did an Easter egg hunt last year and we had 800 Easter eggs. And I invite a lot of my clientele and their families. I didn't really advertise them much because it was like a housewarming too. But that may be something we may be doing again this year and do an adult Easter egg hunt because we back to woods and we might as well have a little fun while we're doing it. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about just like collaborating with other agents that are doing business at a super high level. It's like everybody has that entrepreneurial side that makes their business just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so just learning from others on like, what their specialty is and like how they grow their business and how they show up in a big way for past clients and referral partners and things like that, I think is really cool. Part of this business, because it's, everybody's kind of doing the same thing, but also, we all have our little flair to our business, right?
That's true.
It makes us different.
And Keller Williams teaches the 3-5-2-3-5 rule.
The 1-3-5?
1-3-5. Sorry.
There we go.
But part of that is, mine is open house, sphere of influence and events. So between those three, I typically will always get business.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Talk to me about burnout, because I think a lot of agents, with all the changes that have happened in the industry, with all the hoops and hurdles that we've had to jump through the past 12 to 24 months here, and then you throw in the chaos of the market.
Yeah,
I think it's been a lot for some agents, and whether they want to admit it or not, I think people that have a lot of business, they're facing that burnout, right? So how do you just stay so positive and, keep that fire burning?
Yeah. No, but I mean, at the same token, like, I always strive to be a person who helps someone successfully complete something. So burnout is real, though. When you do a lot of business and you're catering to a lot of people, and towards the end of the year, you're just like, I'm exhausted with answering questions or whatnot. It's one of those things where, it's fight or flight. I fight because I have a family to take care of. So they're my big why. But I do a lot of self-care. I get massages a lot, of course, go to the gym. I hang out with my friends, I take a good trip when I need to. So I try to combat, getting burnt out by filtering in some of these things that kind of help me relax fully. When I go on vacation, I really vacate. I don't really take my business with me. I let everyone know, I'm taking a break. Here's someone in my place. If you need something, I will check my emails, in the evening. I've been pretty strategic with that, and that's helped me not work so much. I'm also very structured when I let people know, my buyers and sellers know, I don't work past 9:00. Unless we're working a deal that's maybe going to go till 10. I'm a night person. Like, I want to go to sleep. So I let them know by 9:00 we're done. We'll resume at 7. So I put parameters around my business to help me not be so exhausted when it comes to working with people. And I think it helps that I am a communications major, so I know how to effectively talk to people. A lot of people will refer to me to people who are very difficult in communication, because I know how to effectively talk to them and not get myself burnt out and not get them burnt out as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, you got to train people on how to treat you, right? And respect your time and your boundaries. And I think it just comes down to setting expectations, communicating at a really high level, and then who you are is who you attract a lot of times. And so, like, people like young family, obviously I'm an agent with, young daughter. And so I'm starting to attract these younger families. And so I think a lot of those people, they get it. Like, if I say, hey, I'm plugging to have dinner with my family, or I'm putting my daughter to bed, like, they get it. Right. And so there's just a mutual understanding there of kind of boundaries and expectations.
And it helps you not be burnt out by knowing someone understands. Now, there are going to be some people who don't understand. I very rarely have people who don't understand, but I'll just let them know, hey, you can't get hold of your doctor all the time. You can't get hold of your dentist all the time. They have hours of operation as well. So respect the hours of operation. I'll get back with you in the morning time.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the, you talk about avoiding burnout and scheduling your vacations. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I think Gary Keller actually recommends is to start by scheduling your vacations first. And then you put your work in around it, right? Because then one, you always have something to look forward to. And that's something that my wife and I always try to do, is we always try to have our next vacation booked by the time we actually go on the vacation that we're going on, right? And that way we always have something to look forward to. And then it also puts kind of like time parameters on your work time, right? Because you have to get things done in order to
enjoy your time.
Enjoy that time.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. What advice would you have to an agent that is either just getting started, or an agent that is maybe close to your level of production, but just wants to take their business to that next level?
Okay. So those who are just getting started, have a hunger, have a realistic hunger, set realistic goals for yourself, do open houses, don't be a secret agent, get around bigger agents who you aspire to be. I remember a quick story. I remember going to my first Bold, and they were raffling off a day with John Brueggemann, but everyone was so afraid to talk to John. Literally, they were terrified. It was like a cool thing to get, but like they're terrified to talk to him. I just went up to John.
I just closed the deal with John yesterday, by the way.
Yeah. I love him. And I'm like, John, everyone's like afraid to talk to you. He was like, I don't know why. And we just got talking, and we love that connection. Don't be afraid to talk to some of these people because they're just people who just make a little bit more money because they've been in the industry a while. So, and keep that hunger, like be about your business. For those who are like approaching maybe like a 5 to 7 mark, you want to hit to a 10, tap into that SOI, be creative, be professional. I think I meet a lot of agents who hate to say it, but they're not professional. They're not carrying themselves in a way to attract certain people. So, make yourself friendly. Don't be shy. Don't be rude. Don't be cruel. And make yourself open. People like to work with people that they like and who are friendly and who are going to communicate effectively to them. So effectively communicate. And I definitely think it will, that business will start to trickle in more because whenever someone refers someone, the first thing they say is they're super professional. They're super nice. So be those adjectives to be able to, people refer you more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always, you talk about be nice. I think that goes back to like the energy that you carry, the energy that you bring to conversations and into the room, right? Yeah. I always say you're either giving energy or you're taking it.
Yeah.
And so be an energy giver. Like every room that you step into, like bring some energy to it. Right?
I'm like I consider myself an energy producer because I'm a person where people want around because I like produce. Go, go, go. In the gym this morning, I'm like, come on, guys, wake up. Yeah. No one asks for it, but it's just something that's engraved in me to do. So it's a natural thing for me to be always like on a high energy level. But in the same token, people enjoy being around that. So if you're a little bit more of a somber person, you could be that person, but still like just be present in the moment, Typically, sometimes like people who are a little bit more recluse tend to be in the background, be in the shadows, but you want to do a big business. You got to push yourself out there a little bit more, to get where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. What else do you want to touch on here?
One thing I want to say in regards to like the holistic view of being a realtor, like it goes into your professionalism, your communication, the way that you carry yourself and dress, your energy. I think that's one of the things I would love to teach a class on in the future is how to be professional in this industry, no matter what color you are. It's just about the professionalism that you give. The deal I'm closing today was a couple that visited my open house a few weeks ago. They had been to 3 previous open houses before me. And I brought the energy. I know what to do in an open house to make it fun, entertaining, engagement. Mm-hmm. I entertained a lot. So when they came, they just had a good time. They weren't interested in the house, but I didn't realize they were interviewing me, so to speak. So by the end of their tour, they came around. They said, "We've been to 3 different open houses. The energy that the other realtors have given was not what you had. We would like to use you as our realtor." Easy peasy, of course.
Didn't even have to ask.
Right. Okay, I got that. Yeah. Talked to them the next day, got them set up with my amazing lender. They got them approved, easy peasy, and now we're closing. So, be the total package if you're going to be in this business. Mm-hmm. And just know that anything's possible. That's awesome. That's great advice. Great advice. At this stage in the game, what are you most proud of with the business that you built? Oh, that's good. I feel I'm most proud of the niche that I have created for myself, which is I feel like I'm a specialist when it comes to the buy-sell transaction. A lot of agents, even bigger agents, will ask me questions in regards to how to do that effectively. I always tell my buyers and sellers, more so my sellers, because they're buying and selling at the same time, a lot of them, buying and selling is like a fine tango. You have to know. It's kind of like rehabbing a house. You have to know when to get the permits, when to schedule this and things of that nature. So I love the fact that I've created that niche in myself where a lot of people are like, hey, I have to buy and sell simultaneously. How do I make this work? Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of agents are like, that's double dipping. That's fantastic. But at the same time, like learning how to do that effectively has afforded me the ability to be able to help a lot more clientele in that way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's your ideal client? Someone that needs to buy and sell. During COVID, my business really skyrocketed because that's when people needed a bigger house, but they were still in their current house. So it is really a fine dance with how to make sure everything goes according to plan and that you're not homeless within, a certain period of time. But that's my ideal client. I mean, I that's good. But of course, that's going to get quickly approved and all that. But at the same token, if you do have credit imperfections, that's something that I work with a lot. I used to do a lot of home buying seminars at my previous job as an event planner, and I used to get like 30 to 50 people in those classes. Mm-hmm. And so during those times, like I would connect them with the lender, get their credit in order and help them. So about 80% of those classes were becoming homeowners. So as you can imagine, I like someone who feels like they may not know that they could purchase a house, and then I ended up helping them intermittently. So that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. That's great. Who is someone that you've looked up to in this industry?
Oh,
or someone that you currently look up to?
Gosh, I have a lot. You know, Janelle Stowers with Stowers Realty. The way that she just runs her business is just amazing. She also runs Realty Central, which is a real estate company. Of course, Tim Burgess, Sabi Javed, they're really good friends of mine. Tina Knox, Abby Josar, those are all Worth Clark agents. But of course, Lance Merrick, Stacy Fish, Kate Johnson, Rhonda Liddell. There's just so many different ages, like with different places that I just admire. Like I love to see hustlers hustle, period. Yeah. Tiffany Hamilton, when I see them doing big numbers, Mila, I forgot her last name, Schumacher. I absolutely love her. So there's just so many. I literally, in every transaction, I try to befriend the agent because I know, like, we all are agents. We're all in this for the same goal. Like,
you're going to see each other again.
You know what I'm saying? I want the vibes to be there because a lot of the times there's been a few times where agent relationship has mattered when it came to
100%.
So, you know, show yourself friendly. Don't be out here making enemies. You know,
absolutely.
Harvey is one of my best friends in this industry. I met some of my best friends in this industry. I have a lot of people.
I mean, that was the whole point behind me starting this podcast, was for agent relationship, and, you know, getting to be in the room with people like yourself and the Lance Merricks of the world and Tiffany Hamiltons, right? Those people that are doing business at such a high level, like getting into a relationship with those agents. And I think there are incredible brokerages out there and incredible agents at all the brokerages, right? And so I think the more that we can collaborate with one another, the better our industry looks as a whole.
Yep.
And obviously, I'm in a leadership position with KW, right? There's no secret there. But I also had a sales business of my own. Yeah. And then I also realized that, like I said, there's great agents at all these different brokerages. So the more we can collaborate and learn from each other, the better our businesses are going to be. And, you know, reality is KW is not the right fit for everybody. Yeah. Just like CBG is not the right fit for everybody, and Berkshire Hathaway and the EXP and Worth Clark, right? Yep. So you find the brokerage that works for you and the brokerage that, you know, adds value to your business, and then you do the work.
Yep.
Right.
You do the work. Period.
So
love it.
That's really what it's all about. So, and I think there can be a healthy respect for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
I think a while ago I actually posted collaboration over competition. And if anyone knows me, really will know, I am such a big collaborator. Like I don't have the energy to compete because there's so much business out here. But at the same time, I have the energy to hustle. I don't have the energy to compete. So like if that's what your MO, it's just, it stops with me. It literally just, I did it immediately. So,
you know, it's funny. I find that the most successful agents, they are not involved in drama whatsoever. They could care less, right? Really? I'm going to do my work. I'm going to go make it happen. Yep. And that's it.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
And so that's why I love sitting down and talking with people that are doing business at a high level, because they don't have time to worry about any drama.
Any foolery.
Right.
You know, we have a whole family out here. We out here just trying to make money and, you know, strive after what each other can, you know, provide and help us with. So I love that for us.
Yes.
That we could collab versus compete, because anybody got time for that.
Yeah. Compete with yourself.
Compete with yourself. I'm going to compete with myself. I set realistic goals and I say, okay, Casey, I'm a self-talker. I like to talk to myself. Okay, Casey, you could do this. Like in the gym this morning, I'm like, you have one more set in you. You could do this. I guess it is competing with myself, or really just motivating myself. Like, I'm my biggest motivator. I'm my biggest cheerleader. You know, I know my family is, but it's ultimately me that has to get up and show up every day to be able to do the things that we want to do. So it got to be you. It has to be ingrained in you. And I am a true hustler when it comes to different things. As you saw, I started a business, staging. I quit it. Like I'm big with pivoting really quickly if something doesn't work. And it wasn't that it didn't work. It was just that I got too busy too quick. And I just couldn't keep up with that growth. And so I would rather do something effectively than do side things just halfway and give it my all.
Yeah, I think a big part of this business too is there are so many shiny objects. So like you have to really, really focus and hone in on your craft and, you know, what you're going to commit your time and energy to. to grow.
That's true.
Because there's a lot of different ways to run a real estate business. It's, you have to be authentic to who you are and how you want to build it.
Yeah.
If you try to be anybody else or chase someone else's goal, it's just not going to work.
And it's easier said than done too. I like to say that, like I think initially at a few points in my career, I'm like, gosh, I'm not where this person is, in life. But in the same token, it will happen, for you to work, keep the focus where it needs to be, and it will happen. Like it can't not but happen because you're putting in the work.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, this has been such a great episode. I gave you a heads up before the episode started. Usually I ask for, I'm an outer right now. I'm an outer right now on the podcast. I said, usually I ask people what their favorite book or podcast. And she was like, don't ask me that. I'm not a reader.
I got to college.
So, hey, we talked about pivoting quick. So here we go. We're pivoting right here. My favorite icebreaker question. People that know me well know that I love to ask this question. It's, what are your top 3 cereals? Because why I ask this, I think you can learn a lot about a person from their top 3 cereals. Like my list is pretty exquisite, I must say.
Tell me.
It's pretty fire. But top 3 cereals. Let's go.
Honeycomb Fruit Loops, Apple Crisp.
That's a pretty good list. I know.
What's yours?
Okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Gotta be number 1. You can sub it in. Honorable mention.
Honeycomb and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch, number 1. Number 2 is Fruity Dino Bites. So it's like the off-brand of Fruity Pebbles.
Okay. Eric.
And I don't know if it just takes me back to my childhood, but we would get, how they sell like the cereal in a bag, and it's like a thing of dog food, and I just remember as a kid, way too much sugar.
For nostalgia purposes, but way
too much sugar. I think that's why it's in there, right? And then number 3, this is kind of my wild card. It's Waffle Crisp.
Okay.
Waffle Crisp.
Never have I ever had Waffle Crisp, but I feel like it would be comparable to
It's kind of like honeycomb, but it's a little hint of syrup flavor in there.
Okay.
It's good. I'll send you a box.
I'll
send you a box. Awesome. Well, Casey, thank you so much for being on this episode. Thank you to everybody that's watching and following along. And we will catch you in the next episode.